I believe we're ready to start. Please rise for the posting of the colors and the flag song.
Tanto si kaya tanto misla. So adi sa taas ni actually na hay kasi. So ya head na adi sana si di ati mo ay ina tutan ko. So ni kaya ni sa han je ay so nakati ay betain dai ay siya. Metal natan ina machine natan na le mal da alto ya da hay down in se ya eve tu na hena misteko na hiku da ay se na kita tin iko ha ye na enas da ena so mizuko na na tain kin ya la na sta iko na so así na kitin iko aku jonas kazi sonte tan jonas nan kiteko asi he di jodan da ko sin ko ri ma he dan zonis din sa sin da kitin e sa sin jonai so tai toni ya ta tai so na kazi so tan te ko he dan nyam jonas te in ze ko so ya asi di na ko na tanan da speak je da speak natan di ko hato miniman soldare che succede e andare e viene.
Everybody can be seated. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing good today. This is the first, this is the State of the Nation address, State of the Jicarilla Apache Nation address by President Wainwright Velarde. And I'd like to recognize the Legislative Council in attendance. And also, I wanted to let you all know, right after the dinner, we're gonna be, the Wild Horse Event Center will be providing a meal, but we're gonna ask everybody to leave and then come back because they have to. It's not gonna take a long time, it'll take maybe 15 minutes or so. They just need to set up the table, so that's immediately following the address and meeting. I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Joseph Salazar and the Wild Horse Casino and Hotel Event Center, Mr. Ernie Vela and the JOTC, Harrison Velarde, the Jicarilla Apache royalty, and they are in attendance. We can please rise and wave. And Mrs. Geraldine Julian, all the emergency departments, the administration staff, LaDonna Tafoya and Kelly Didios, and my public relations staff, Shona Holyfield and Lavana Montoya. And the payroll office will be giving out W-2s at the administration building lobby until tomorrow. You must pick up your own. And also for all those, this is just the capital outlay. This is regarding the state. They're going through a budget crisis. I don't know if you all kept up with the news. The governor and state legislators are considering cutting the capital outlay for this year. But so far, they have not put that on the table just yet. But for all those departments that have put in for the capital outlay, just be aware of this fact. Our lobbyist, Robert Apodaca, has been keeping us updated on what is currently underway at the state legislature. And now everyone, please welcome to the podium, President Wainwright Velarde.
Danjong, Danjong was got rest. Oh, nothing. Make them say nothing. Nazai didn't know that's on her, letting addition. And Jomedaga single over here. Taco in a country house, see, doorways are. Yeah. Cái cố đồ sinh này có ta ai có đi, mình cái này với cái ở bây giờ đó sao này, giờ đây nhà họ chỉ có tiếng của cái giá trị, giờ đây nhà sai rồi có chân sai nào chứ, giờ đây về sai giờ đây là cái gì à, giờ đây này cái đó này, cái bây giờ cái này khó yang cái đó này. Ego down. Na hina kunti ke keo ai de tan jono. De keo. Many artists or hasazi. Ya taga je se menashni Richard DeQ, Vice President Hassan Nida. Try la in Machi keo yashkin. About 3/4 of the way now, I'm gone and get settling. Yeah, didn't he had the way it like a yeah. Yeah, then it's in as I had over at the sea. That's a year about the sea go to where Santa to go there. We are yet that not there. I say, Mungani, going to kick is to the point. That could have hunted. But I just wanted to mention some of this stuff to all of you guys as Apache. So I just wanted to mention also is that we're not forgetting it. We have a culture affairs office that's going to be putting it into play, and hopefully we can get it into this little thing here for you guys so that you can learn your language too. And the thinking behind this whole thing is that, and you guys should all think about it too, is the fact that we are a Jicarilla Apache nation. And there is no other nation on earth such as ours. It's the only place. And it's beautiful. It's something that the Creator gave us. And we need to look at it from that format, that it belongs to us. That we need to enhance it and add to it and see if we can do a better job. And that's what we need to do every day. And the reason why I say every day too is because I want everybody to stop hating each other's, stop saying things about each other's, and stop, everything that's negative. I want each and every one of you to do it the way I was taught. And I'll explain that to you right now. What I mean by that is like when I was growing up as a little boy, I used to go to Emmy Ward's store. There's an old grandma comes in here, gives me a quarter. Back then, a quarter was worth about $5. Used to give it to me and said, "So you eat up, grandson, here's a quarter. Go buy yourself a soda pop and some candy. And then here's another quarter. Give this to your dad so he can drink some coffee." That's how our people were. The minute I went into BIA school, learned the language that I'm talking to you on, I learned everything behind it too. And that's where everything that is in here is based on. I just want to share that with you. As a people, we're not hating people, we're helping people. As I was growing up, as I went higher, my parents, we lived in La Jera, in the canyon there. When it's time to hay, the people nearby came by to help. And we went over there to help them. There was no pay me, no such thing. Sylvie's nodding her head over there. She understood it. It was like that. It was beautiful. They used to come to town over here in front of Apache Haven. People used to go into the Royal over there and eat. Because come here, eat with us. We sit in a circle, they're telling stories, and we eat. In some of the circles that I sat in, there was half a gallon of wine sitting there. Alcoholism wasn't at its peak. They drank it with their food. Then when some of it wasn't even finished, they just spilled it. And then they left. They went back out to the reservation and take care of their sheep. And that's how beautiful it was. So in my growth process, and I'm sure the people behind me are the same way too, and some of you out there, that's how we grew up. Where this hate and hating each other's and the negative part of our lives came from the school system. The more we learn, the more we understand those kind of things. From it also came everything that we have to understand today. We have to have a court system to see a little bit of justice. We have to have a hearing committee within HR to hear our grievances. Back then, it wasn't like that. You were told what to do and you did it. When people come up to me and says, well, we need HR, we need to have freedom of speech, we need freedom of religion. No, that's not in our culture. In our culture, as you're growing up, you come to a period in time when all of these things are given to you. When you got gray hair, that means that you tried everything in life was thrown at you, and you survived, and therefore you know practically everything that life had to offer you. So you become an authority. Then and only then can you think and speak freely. That's when freedom of speech comes into play. The religion is built into the system. Right at the beginning, they tell you 3 to 4 months of your life, the breath of life is put into your mom's womb. That's when you start breathing air. In our culture, all of those things are sacred, all of those things are told to you, and that's the reason why you have to adhere to your belief system. The wind is important to all of us. That's what we breathe in here in order to live. It's not in the Bible, it's not in this, it's not in that. It's given to you right there. And that's how we are alive. That's where it starts from. And as you grow up, you learn more about how these things all come together with you. But I just wanted to share that with you this morning, so that I had to look up this morning and what a State of the Union was in this little box of mine that I have here. My wife said, "Hey, look at this. You need to look at this before you give a speech over there." I said, okay, so I did. So in it, it said I had to get the status of the nation, where we're at. And I said, by starting from there, I think the first thing that anybody needs to know, and everybody wants to know in here, is are we getting our pay, our D checks on time for the whole year? And to that, I would tell all of you, we are. We're going to get D checks all the way through the year, just like last year. And I think in 1,000. And we will continue to do that. So I think to most people that come to the State of the Union address, that's the most important thing to do. And everybody asks that question. Everybody asks that question of me. So in the words of the white people, I asked my treasurer to give me a small thing about what happened yesterday at the council meeting with these guys here. Our money managers came to town from Chicago and told us where we stood and everything. I don't know if any of you watch TV, but the Dow Jones is over 20,000. And that's good. That's where we get our money. You know, one thing I'd like to mention here also is the fact that even though the Dow Jones does good or bad, you know, we tried everything out here. We have this system here, A and C. We've yet to make money. We have running Elko, same thing. So everything that we tried, we haven't really done any good. But the Dow Jones, the money managers, they're consistent. Somewhere in the internet, I read that we should get away from that. We should put in our own enterprise or something that can make money for us. And I tell people, I said, do we have out here any Bill Gates? I don't think so. Maybe it might be one still growing up. But when that Bill Gates come up, then we can all put our money into that and we'll be billionaires above and beyond. But today I can tell you that we are billionaires. And with that, I'll read this, what was given to me so that you guys understand it. The budget of 2017 needed to be supplemented 36 million. We were in a hole that much, which was taken from our 100 million settlement. And the 100 million was 124 million. That's what we went as a group up to Washington, D.C. to settle with Sally Jewell, the Interior Department. And for your information, you guys need to know what I know. For the past years before that, Levi's administration as president, Ty's administration, we had to use our own money to put up everything that we did. And that's why it was difficult to put D checks out there. So now that we settled with the BIA, and the reason why we settled was that they mismanaged our money badly. And all we got back was 124 million. We have already spent 27 million fighting them with Holland and Knight, our attorneys, as well as Nordhaus and the attorneys from there. For that many years, we couldn't get nowhere. So with that in mind, Mr. Ken Salazar came to us one day through our current attorneys, Rosette, and offered us if we could negotiate with the Interior Department, if they could do it for us. And Mr. Ken Salazar was at one time the Interior Secretary also. So we kind of went along with the whole deal and listened to what he had to say. And so in the end, we went with him. And he negotiated to the point of what we have for the settlement, 124 million. Of course, we already spent 27 million, so we had to pay that first, which left us 100 million in the settlement. And that's where it's mentioned here. After attorney's fees were paid and other commitments, 84 million was transferred to the Bank of New York, for that our investors will monitor that money with the rest of our investments. Per capita for 2017 was approved and will remain the same for no increases. For 2018, per capita monies will be projected after the approval of the budget. Every year, per capita costs the nation 32 million, and that is based on an $8,000 per tribal member per year. That's how much you guys get as from the tribe on your money say come to you for free. Now, if you look at 100 million, it seems like a lot of money. However, it's like $100 for each and every one of you. If you take $30 from $100 and you're left with $70, so this kind of gives you the knowledge of how fast 100 million goes. That's why it's very important that we all watch our spending. This is once in a lifetime settlement. We need to be careful how we spend. It's important. And the bad thing about this whole thing is that the oil and gas dropped that much too, 40% of our budget. We have 80 million that we use everything for in the community. And this year we had to drop it. We had to add 30 million to make it survive and live comfortable the way we are doing today. And I think that's important for all of you guys to know. And of course, like I said in the beginning, that's what everybody comes to the State of the Union for in the first place. Now with the budget approved for 2017, the nation is sitting on a comfortable place. However, we as a nation should continue to stay under our budgets and avoid overspending. And that's for all the departments in here that are here. And then for the people that are employees, look at it that way too. No one predicted the stock market would climb with Trump's election. Our investors feel that this is a good impact on our stock market and should stay at that steady climb. We need to consider that Trump's new administration will bring and how it will impact the stock market. So we need to give our investment a break and now create a new projects at this time. So on that side of the fence too, also, Mr. Trump is also saying they're going to drain the swamp. The swamp is us. They're going to take money away from our BIA, the monies that come to us for HUD, for housing, for infrastructure that we need here on the reservation. All of those things are going to get affected. So with that in mind, you know, we have to be real careful in how we do things. And I take this to right to the level that where you're sitting. You have to be careful, guys. We can't buy tires for everybody. We can't pay rent for everybody. This past year, that's what we did. Right up to the end, we had to divide it up so that this guy and that guy and that guy will get a little piece of it just to help them. We do that as in our administration. And we go above and beyond. So to me, what I would like for you guys out there during the time that I'm in office, help me out. Let's work together. Let's stand together. Let's understand this thing together so that we know what we're doing. People get upset when I say, well, we're going to have a monthly meeting. Why? Some of the councilmen even say that too. These ones sitting up here, plus the ones that have been there before. But I said, if everybody knows what we're all doing, isn't it better? Isn't it better if your neighbor and you understand and talk once in a while than just to be silent? Then it's not a good deal, sir. So for that reason, I'm saying that if we work together, we can do things together. We don't criticize each other then. And the next step that I would like to take from here is the legislative branch. Even though it's not in my side of the fence anymore, but I sat on that side also, we're asking these guys to see if they can change some of the laws. And there's a lot of laws that affect us when we apply for grant funding. There's laws in there that's not in our code. And so we need to change a lot of those things in there too, to make it proper. And I'm asking them to do that. And I'm going to ask you guys too out there that we might have to change our election format too. We elect people, all of us up here, every 2 years. And then if we're going to make a referendum, everybody has to vote on it. I think the last meeting that I had over at the community center, there was one person that was upset with one of our laws. Well, the law has to be changed by everyone in this room. So that's what they call referendum. So I'm asking the council here, as well as you guys out there, if we can change the law every 6 months. Let's put a priority list on it and put which one we need to change. And we need to add first. We need to add a lot of them that aren't there. So maybe we'll put those first. And then once we do that, I think we can, every 6 months, we'll go to vote for it and not vote for it or whatever and get it done. If we don't do that, our Constitution is going to remain the same. And this is how bad the Constitution is, people. Back in 1934, a piece of paper that we call Constitution was given to 567 tribes. It's just like 500 and that many people in here. Here is your constitution. Now be a good boy, and now you're a government. The government will recognize you. The government will do this for you with this piece of paper saying it's your constitution. They never bothered to ask if it fits us. They never bothered to say, well, is it going to govern you okay? Nobody questioned it. Indian people say, well, that's what the people, white people want us to do, and that way we get our rations, that way we get our money. It's okay with us. So that's what happened. So with that in mind, I'm saying that we need to change it. So I'm asking these guys behind me to see if we can do it in that fashion. It's going to be a little bit difficult because it's never been done in Indian country. There's about 137 tribes out there that have changed their constitution. The Navajo Nation does not have a constitution. There's several like that too. So I'm just kind of giving you a rough rundown on government, but you need to know because we need to change what we have. So with the 1934 Constitution that we have, we need to change it. We need to change it to fit today, what we do today. And then what our children are going to do down that way. For them sake, mainly, that's why we need to change it. So that we have a government. We're fortunate because we're way up here and nobody can interfere with us that much. So for that reason, I'm asking the legislative body to make those changes. And I've also asked the legislative body to take care of our Chapter 17 corporations. The Chapter 17 corporations haven't made any money. And that also was a boilerplate given to them to do a Chapter 17 corporation. As a nation, we never went over there to look at, see how much money they're making. We don't know if they're doing it right. We don't know what's going on over there. And so I've asked the council to redo the whole Chapter 17. And let's set it up to where it makes money for the tribe. Let's set it up where it's bringing in something to us. Let's set it up to where we can be proud of it. Nobody's heard of it, a lot of it too. We got the biggest animals over there at Chamalan. In elk, it's 510. Most of the country has 400s, elk-sized elks, and we have a 510 up there. And that's something to be proud of, but nobody's aware of it. And everybody in here is a hunter. That's who we are, and that's who we understand. So with that in mind, I wanted to say just that portion of it. And then to give you the State of the Union, is like I said, we go right in from there to the judicial system. The judicial system, when I came from the council this way to this job here, we dismantled the whole judicial system because it wasn't working. We got rid of all the people and we're starting new. And we didn't just do it just to do it. We had the New Mexico Indian Law Center help us do an assessment. And you guys went through all of that too. And we found out that we don't have a good legislative system. So now that it's open, we hired 2 judges and they're doing the best they can with what they have. And some of the people have been coming into my office asking myself and my staff that they're not getting justice down there. So I went down there and I'm meeting with them again next week to see how we can open it up and improve the whole thing. I have Colleen Whitehead out looking for money for me, for the tribe. The council hired her, and she's a contracted person, and she's trying to get information for us to get some funding. The Indian Law Center told us that there's monies out there, so that's what she's looking at. And then what we're going to do here is how we're going to start fixing it with the council, the legislative body, as well as the executive branch, helping how we can fix it and get it going once and for all again. And here again, I mentioned to all of you that you guys need to know what we're doing too. So with that in mind, currently the Supreme Court for all of you guys in here is these guys over here, the legislative body. They make the final decision. And according to the three branches of government that we're supposed to have, the judicial system is supposed to make that decision. So with that in mind, for now, all of you, think about it. I was thinking about 3-judge system, 3 justices. Just like in the Supreme Court, they have 12. I think for our nation here, we need 3. And that's what would be the final decision with those 3, instead of the legislative body. And for the simple fact that there's relatives, there's people that are on this level that it's not good justice. So for that thinking, if the judicial branch makes the decision themselves, then it's fair. You see? So, and then the other side of it too is then the judicial system also can tell the legislative body if they're making ordinances the right way or the wrong way. They can tell us that we're interpreting those laws in the wrong way too. And there's a check and balance system all the way around. Currently, today, there's none. So we need that if we're going to march forward. And it's for that reason I wanted to share that with you also. And as far as the departments, I've been trying to meet with every one of them. When I first started out, we started out with, I think first day we covered something like 30, second day 30, another 30, and I think we ended at 3/4 of the way through it. But I kind of did that just to understand what kind of departments we have out there. We got 94 departments, people. And what I want to say to you guys is that the direction that we're going to be taking, we're growing up, okay? We have a motor pool. We had a game and fish. We had public service. We had fencing. All of these were based on thoughts of the past leadership to make jobs for our tribal members. And today, I think we outgrew it. So what we need to start thinking is that we have a power line running all the way down south. We need some journeymen to maintain the lines. We're going to be bringing in broadband. I'll talk about that in a little while too. We need people in those areas. We need people in the areas that is making money for the tribe, instead of, doing fences or doing public service or doing motor pool. And as the motor pool goes too, it's getting more difficult to mechanic a vehicle. And down here, I think we have about, I would guess, but I'm pretty sure about 4 or 5 mechanics. And we got a fleet of over 200 vehicles. And they can't keep up. You have to learn everything every day because those vehicles are changing every day too. So it's not logical. It doesn't seem the way the motor pool was set up is going to work anymore. So we had to make changes. And a lot of things, if you just look around in the community, you could see all of these things happen. We're outgrowing a lot of things. So I just wanted to put it in front of you guys how we need to make some changes. And the changes I'm going to make are in some areas. I have my editor sitting over here. We need a better chieftain. I'm going to take her to Navajo country, show her how the Navajos do Navajo times. I'm going to take her up here to the Utes and show them how the Utes do their drum. That's what they call it in the newspaper. And then I'm going to take her to some other ones so that we can create a staff of people that know how to do these things and train all of them so that we won't, as a people here, won't just receive pictures for our paper with little captions on the bottom saying so-and-so was here. You know? And one thing I want to mention to you here too is that this is your paper. Other people look at it and say, is this a tribal paper? It looks like a tribal funnies. You see what I'm saying? So for that reason, we need to step it up. And it's for that reason I'm standing up here in front of you asking you as a people, tell me some of the things that we need to do. I'm just thinking some of these things out loud to you so that as you the other ones that I'm talking about is my friend Mr. Jicarilla over here, my director. We had a meeting with him and also with Jacob. Jacob is going to die. I went to the people that work for the oil fields. I went to Lynn Manise. I went to Elton, Tongo. I went to Hoyt Velarde. I went to some of the ones that are working. My friend Jason over here. I went to Waymar. The people that are out there, the ones that know what's going on out there. I didn't go elsewhere to look for expertise. And guess what, people? There was a lot of stuff sitting on the shelves that were already done and nobody implemented them. So now after the summit, the next step is we're going to have another one in a couple, maybe a week from now. And we're going to put all of it together and see what we have out there. There's still money to be made out there, and quite a bit. And the beautiful part about it is that with all this money that's made with the oil business, we give about 40 million to the state of New Mexico. And if you heard in the news today, the state of New Mexico is hurting. They're broke. Just this morning, they appropriated 140 million to cover their deficit. And they took from our capital outlay that money to get that done. That's not fair to us, but that's the way the state works. So what I'm saying is that if we make this money the second time, We're not paying it over there because this is going to be ours. We're going to hire people from in here ourselves, and a lot of the work that we're doing over here at public service and different places within the community, we're going to be doing out there in the oil fields. We need some water haulers. We need some people that work with the oil companies, and that's where the work's going to have to come from. And then at the same time, we'll be making money. And from it also, we need to reset some of the water that we got out there. They're just dumping it out there. We made Mr. Smith, the company, as you go 537 right outside where he smells awful, we gave him all that money off of our reservation. He's a millionaire now, and we could have used that money for each and every one of you. If we had a company, we would have supplied a piece of land over here and farmed all that contaminants. We would have made a lot of money too. The tribe would have made it, and maybe an individual would have made that too. I know some of our tribal members tried that too, but we didn't trust them, and we didn't have enough money to do that correctly. So, but there's money that's right there in the oil fields, and we can do that also. And the first step of the whole thing is that we're trying to get some feasibility study money so we can do the next step to it. And I told the council too that I'm not running into it just for the sake of running into it. We're going to do it step by step so that we can do it correctly. And in case something goes wrong, we can back off yet. So a lot of the things that I'm doing, that's what I'm doing. The next part of this whole thing is that I wanted to also tell you about broadband. Broadband is another area that we're covering. And the broadband is everything having to do with your telephone, with the cell phone that's in your pocket, in your purse, the coverage of it, the Wi-Fi that's probably in this building, and the technology is all there. And some of the key components within this broadband thing is that we have it here, and Windstream is the one that's supposed to be taking care of us. But we fired Windstream 5 years ago. So really there is no broadband here. There is a broadband, yes, physically. But in terms of paper, there is really nothing. So what we're trying to do is I got all the people that work with computers, the people that work with cell phones and stuff, I got them all together as a committee, and we formulated a committee through the Constitution. See, I follow the Constitution because that's what I'm charged with. I don't just do it just out of the clear blue sky to make it, because we do have to follow directions. And the reason why I say that too is that when you get wronged out there with your job, oh, he didn't want to pay me. I get a lot of those on front of my desk too. And then you have to protest. You had to go to your boss. You had to go through all that. If you follow procedures, you'll get there. That's what I have to do too. As your leader, I have to follow procedures. I have to follow Constitution. I have to ask these people for permission before I do it. I don't just do it. And that's what I want you guys to know too. You guys got to do it the same way I do it too. Just trying to get that message across too. But with broadband, we're almost there. I need to send Rosary Hill to training to do the library, because that's a key component. The airport's another key component. The school system is another key component. The businesses that we have, this one here, as well as others, are components of it too. So those are the things that make broadband run, as well as the cell phones that you guys carry. So with that in mind, that's what we're trying to do. Once we get everything under control, and once we get the money going, Right now, we're stuck on the money part because the person that's in charge of it up in Washington, D.C., he resigned because Trump came in and he doesn't want to deal with him. So they have an empty director up there. So as soon as they get a new director, we're already looking at the money that we can get from there. And then going back to, well, I might as well explain everything from that. But as soon as we get there, and we should have broadband for your information by the end of the year. We will have it. So with that in mind, I also like to go back to what I was saying about gas and oil. We're looking at it the same way up there too. We're trying to get some money from up there to help out that too. And then gas and oil is two things that we have. And then with my director, John Wheeler, is the next one I wanted to talk about. We have, and I think those are the last two I wanted to mention to you guys too, is that John Wheeler runs two departments. One is electricity. The electricity is finally ours, finally the way we're operating with it. And then we also still need some things within the electricity format too, the meters and stuff, to make it complete. And then the other side of it too, when Nora left us, all the lines, all the systems within our community were substandard. And we finally got that up to snuff. And now, I think yesterday, for the first time, Mr. John Wheeler was given money to run the program on their own. And that's a good thing. So all the monies that you give them, they rotate it and maintain the system with it. So that's how we want to do everything like that, all the departments. If we can rotate the money and make it work for all of us in here, I think we're on our way to surviving. Because that's what it's based on. And it's important to each and every one of you to understand that. If we can make gas and oil turn and give us the money, it'd be beautiful. If we can make this facility here, make money and give it to us, it'll be good. You know, we're not at a point where we need to borrow money. We're not at a point where we are hurting. Like the state of New Mexico, they lost a lot of money and they're hurting real bad. The tribe is in good state. The tribe is strong in every way. And I'm proud to say that as your leader. And I'm going to be saying it next week in front of all the state of New Mexico. And for once, I want the Jicarillas to stand tall and say who we are. And I will say that for all of you at the state legislature when they have a joint meeting next Friday. They invited me there, so I'm going to speak my piece and I'm going to say my piece also. Because I think it's important for a leader to do that. And then the following week, I'm going to go back up to DC and I'm going to see if I can tap Mr. Trump on the shoulder and see if he can get his attention, to see if I can tell him what I think of some of his programs too. And basically, I don't know if some of you are still following it, but we have the problem that they have up north. All the Indian people. Now it's everybody's problem, that oil pipeline. We had some of our people from here camped up there too, which is good. But protests and everything else is kind of like somebody wrote in a book. The protests that we're going to do from now on is going to have to be different. So my way, I think the government's way, is to go up there and talk to those people and see what we can get straightened out. I talked to Sally Jewell point blank too, and I told her what I wanted. And I told her I wanted my school. I wanted my school system here, under her, with her money is coming to me. And she didn't want to do it. So we got a law against it. I said, well, let's throw that law out and you give me the money and we'll do what's right for my people, I said. And the reason why I say that, I'm going to say this to the state of New Mexico too. They didn't like it when I told them that I was going to take over the school system up here. And I just wanted a reaction to see what they're going to say. But if you look at our school system up here, most of us graduated from there. And there's nothing, no shame to that. Maybe we didn't learn everything the white man's supposed to teach us, but we're still standing here. And we're still doing what we're doing. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's the way I look at it. But we can stop right there. We need our children better than that. They need to have it better than we did. So that's all I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. And the other side to that too is that we can combine it here. Within our, if we run the school ourselves, we can combine a lot of things in there that we need for this community. We need some workers out there. Some of these people don't even know how to sign their application for work. See, we need to train some people there. We got some young mothers out there that don't know how to be mothers. We need to train them also. You see? That's what I'm saying. We got some people out there that don't know how to spend money too. That's the truth. That's what I'm saying. So we need to train every area and relearn everything we're doing so that we can do better for ourselves. We're not worried about the rest of the state. We're not worried about Farmington. We're not worried about Pagosa Springs. We're worried about Dulce right here. We need to take care of Dulce. And that's where we live. This is home. We're not going anywhere. I've been a lot of places in this world. But this is still home. And I know that you guys feel the same way too. So that's why, let's make it better. Let's make it count. Let's help one another. Let's not be mean to each other. Let's raise our kids the right way. Let's do everything the right way. Once and for all. This is the only last chance we got, people. This is the only last chance we got. We're lucky we got the money. Our gas and oil is down. We need to find out how we can survive. And the other side of the coin also is that in order for all of us to survive, we have to bring some of our culture back. We need to. We can put it back in the school system. We can put it back out here in the public and do it, you know. The blessing ceremony is a good one. It's a blessing ceremony for the couple through life, the male and the female. The races that we have at Jicarilla. It's a blessing ceremony for all of us, for good harvest, meat eaters, to give us something to survive on, for the grass, to provide the meat eaters the food that we have. They're both sides of the thing that we bless, that we run for, that means meaning to us. And that's what it's all about. That's who we are as Apaches. It doesn't come from the Bible. It comes from our Creator and our belief system that we have. And if we're sick and we need a blessing for the people that have passed away, a whole bunch of them at one time, it's hard to understand that too. We have the bear dance and different things to bless those things too, to make it right. And you yourself, you have to believe. I always tell my staff, pray to it first. I tell my council, we need to pray first. I went to a conference here this past weekend, and I bless everything for them over there. See, in our world as Apache people, you have to ask permission from the Creator to do what you're going to do. And then that's one side of it. The other side of it is that every time you pray you have to thank him. And you say, well, what did I thank him for? For your life on earth, for being here. You see? And a lot of people want to go to heaven, but to me, this is heaven. Right here. And we can make it that way too, by helping each other, by living together, by talking the same language, by understanding the same God, by helping one another. And that's what I want this community to be. And that's why I'm standing here before you too. If I didn't care, I won't be here. So I just want to carry that message to each and every one of you to start this year off. Let's make a good Little Beaver. Let's make a good Jicarilla day, the ones that count for us. Let's make it a good Gudgia. And let's make it a good year for all of us. That's what we need for all of us. And remember it. That way we have good memories. We've lost some good people, but we always remember them. And that's what I'm talking about when I try to talk to everybody like that. I stand the same way for my staff. It's hard to stand tall for people, but I'm willing to do it. With that, I want to say thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, President Velarde. And for all those that came in late, there's drinks in the back and there's some fruit. So if you haven't had your coffee, you can go grab a coffee cup. And also just a reminder that we will be serving the Wild Horse Casino Event Center. We'll be providing a meal, but we're going to ask everybody to leave so they can set up the tables. So it should take about 15, 20 minutes. So that's just, we ask for that. Now I'd like to welcome to the stage Vice President Edward Velarde.
No response? All right. My part would be just more or less an update of what I've been doing with all the departments for the nation. Also, it's kind of hard to follow the president's advice on attitudes and stuff like that, but he's right, and I'll kind of speak on that for a while also to mention some concern, because it's not your fault. It's just the way previous administration has operated. You know, we all got complacent, you know, we all got comfortable with that. Now we're trying to turn it around, and we do see resistance, you know, in all levels. So I just want to say that we're trying to make a change, but we need to, you guys need to change your attitudes also, be positive, you know. I think that's what the message that the president wants to emphasize. So with that, I'll update you guys on departments. I've been working with the departments just to better serve you guys and also the community. Presently, I think we are experiencing snowfall. We're doing our best to address that. And we did have a meeting just the other day on that topic. And I know from past, again, after this what I said about the past, but because of limited resources, financial, I think we're kind of, you know, as far as the snow removal, we're only going to do driveways, nothing beyond that, because of fuel costs and machine, you know, breaking down and stuff like that. So I know you guys, many of you will be upset with us. I anticipate that. But also the other question that comes from this is liability. We don't know what's under the snow. If we break some, you will blame us. So to avoid that, we're just going to do the driveways, okay? And there will be a memo to that effect that's be coming out to those departments that are pushing the snow. And also, I know some of you are impatient. Why your snow, your snow hasn't been plowed? I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that now. Cause, let me finish, okay? Okay, I hear you. Okay, on that point, like I said, I just had meetings with the departments. Anyway, there's people that we're all overwhelmed, okay? Let me put it that way. Each department have their own areas of responsibility. They cannot cross over because they're trying to do it orderly. That's where I think the delays come from, but that's why I'm asking for your patience. I know we're aware of your situation, but we serve the whole community, not just one person, okay? Also at the same time, we try to prioritize, for the elderlies. We do that. Also, people with medical situations, we also put them on priority. So these come first before they come around, okay? And shoveling is optional. Doing your own, yeah, doing your own. And also, like it's mentioned earlier by the president, help each other. Don't just look across the highway or across the street and just watch your neighbor work. Get in there and help, In fact, that's what just happened to me the other day. My neighbor helped me sweep off the snow. I didn't ask her. She came down and helped me. He said, you can't do it alone, they told me. So that's what happened to me. So just from experience. Well, from our level, where I sit, I don't know about the president, but from my level, I haven't heard your complaint. I didn't receive nothing like that, so. Okay? Anyway, moving on. Also working with the Department of Labor, we're trying to improve work situation there so you people can work on, I think it's a 90-day employment. And out of this, I think every once in a while we get good employees and we encourage employees to do their job. Even though they're 060, we kind of get caught in the dilemma, meaning that they're good employees, but yet they're still 060. So hopefully we can change that or work toward, getting them permanent. So that's what we try to do with our employees too. And also, I think the president mentioned about signing your application. I would go a little further, you need to fill out your application completely. And if there's any problem, I think we can help you, ask for assistance. Don't be ashamed of it. Read the fine print, attach all documents, utilize J for training. And we need certified people in various areas now, various trades because of liability. So we're working on that also, still working on it. And to utilize resources. Also, we've been talking about centralizing our heavy equipment that all departments are using. We just met again the other day too on it, and we're still talking very preliminary, but we're going to centralize all equipment, and there'll be a system set up for maintenance, for checking it out, and everything that goes along with it. I think this will be a better position for the insurance too, so that we have with the nation. Also, on buildings, we have been working with heating system down in Dishkoten and other areas that were, I think, we kind of figured out what was going on in Dishkoten. It was going back to a computer system that was implemented way back when it was built, but I think it was never turned on. That's what I hear. One of the furnaces, was still brand new, but we got to handle it, but this goes back since inception. Also, I think the president already mentioned the broadband, dealing with internet and telephone systems, so I won't elaborate on that one. Behavioral health, here, I think you guys, I hear comments out there about bringing back the halfway house. Because our people that have alcoholic problems, especially this time of the year, it's cold and they have no other place to go, and also you'll be served as a rehab type of deal for them. So we're trying to bring that back, and we're working on it also. Also, construction. I'm speaking about the construction department. I think they're working on houses. They're continuing, but very limited because of funding and maybe right now the weather also. Also, there was an idea that was presented to us about 2-3 weeks ago, and this again is real preliminary also, but we made contact with a person that wants to do refinery here on the reservation. And if that happens, there will be, job opportunities. Also, we haven't got a proposal for them, but like I said, we're preliminary, but the way it sounded that we don't really have to spend our money there, but as we look into it, we'll be cautious not to get caught in, spending our money. So then we'll be doing that. But if it comes to reality, I think that will be an opportunity for jobs. Also, the refinery itself, I think the industry, because of EPA or EPO regulations, some of these refineries are shutting down, and this kind of give us a window of opportunity right now. So but right now they need a response from us. That's where it's at. But we're going to respond before they do a presentation. Willow Creek Ranch, I think I discussed this with the director there, and I know every year we seem to spend buying hay from outside, and I thought myself that, we got our own place here. We got water, we got land, we got equipment, manpower. Why don't we grow our own hay? That's what I thought. So I'm pretty sure there's planning going on right now. If not, I need to get back to that department and let them, start doing something, because some growing season's coming up again. Also, next item is attitudes. I think the president already mentioned some other stuff, but I would add to it New Year resolutions. Have a more positive approach or attitude, okay? Don't be negative. And we're here to help. And we're doing our best for everyone, okay? Don't carry grudges. Move on and keep living. Help one another. Go to work and get a job. Keep your job. Don't go payday to payday or dividend to dividend. Become independent, not dependent on the tribe. Don't overextend your credit because tribe is limited in funds. Learn to budget, okay? I know you guys don't want to hear it, but somebody has to say it. So it'll be locked in your mind, okay? Construction at the supermarket, I think it's, you see the building going up right now. On this one, we kind of had no communication between the contractors and the tribe, so, but we're turning that around. Also, I hear from you guys out there that want to save the store too, instead of being torn down, to use it for other purposes. That's what I hear too. You guys agree with that? Okay. But I know I brought it to maybe a councilman or somebody that said, no, the council made a decision, but to me, I think it's still feasible right now. We could use it for other office space, for other purposes. That's the way I look at it. But if you agree, then we'll consider that. Also, the construction of the community center will be starting this year, probably in the spring there. For Jicarilla Day, get involved, because that's our culture, our language. And it should be just more than events, is what I heard, today. So I hope it's more than just a chainsaw competition or whatever, but if you guys are, can do some input on that, I think we'll make it bigger. Also, the other thing that I know that probably goes with our administration building, maybe other buildings, there was concern brought out about evacuation plans. We need to work on that too, because I know we have a couple, maybe several incidents that happened, and we didn't really know what to do, but we did what the best way we can. So, but we need evacuation plans in case of fire or other emergencies. It's for your safety also. That's what we have in mind. Also, this one, I think we're still kind of talking about it, but I hate to talk about it, but I think it's true. I think it was identified as a generation curse, meaning that it needs to be broken, where we hate each other, have negative attitudes. We need to break that. We're all got used to it, so we need to, like I said, we need to change that, because without it, we cannot move forward. And forgive one another, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President. I agree with the positive attitude, and, you can, if you're having a bad day, you're overwhelmed with something, you look at somebody that's always smiling, always have a good attitude. And me, I use as my model, my late mom. She always had a smile, even though sometimes I know she was in a lot of pain. She always had a lot of things happen in her life. She always smiled, she always laughed, she always joked. And I try to use that. I used to think about her. And sometimes it works a lot of times, But, I know there are times that I have to tell myself, what will mom do? So, just look at somebody who always has a smile on their face, has a great attitude, and use them as a model in your life. With that said, I'd like to welcome to the stage Legislative Counsel William Muniz.
Morning. I was just told to kind of hurry up. Everybody's hungry. No, I just wanted to make some points on some of the stuff that was said already. But as far as for investments, what do we call it? Our investors that we hired are taking good care of us. That's all I wanted to let you guys know. They keep track of everything day to day. Like if the stock market goes down, they'll have a plan to cover that. But we're being taken care of good. So and then like the capital, like the president said, we're good till 2017. And as we go along, they got a plan where we're paying into it ahead of time. Not the whole thing, but just partial. But by the time next year comes around, I think we'll be paid up for the 2018, so just be aware of that. The other thing is that, we're talking about a lot of this, I keep, bringing it up, is because like our laws, they're way out of date, and our Constitution needs to change. Maybe not the whole thing, but we can change certain items in there. And our codes and ordinances are kind of out of place too. And that's what we're going to try to work on. And out of that, I told some of the council members that we need to work on the ethics code first. That's where we're accounted for everything that we do. And that's where you guys get your, say-so in it too. And you guys vote on it. That's what I want to see. And I think some of the other council members, are looking forward to that too. But I told them that's the first one we should try to fix. So we're accounted for everything. Another thing is for your capital. Your dividend that you get, the way it was set up was to assist you. If you couldn't pay a gas bill with your paycheck, you use that to help pay for your other bills. It's not to go out there and say it's my check. So think about it. That is to assist you. If you couldn't pay a bill, use that to help you pay for it. Maybe put the rest aside. Some might come up. I can't read my own writing, so. Oh, I guess that's probably about it. But when you guys go places, take care of yourself. Talk to your kids, send your kids to school. That's the problem they're having. You guys need to get involved as parents. Go to school. If your kids have problems, go up there with them, support them, send them to school. This problem that they're having, I think that's what it is. And the other thing I'll tell you is what I hear up there is some of the kids are saying, oh, I don't have to go to school. I get dividend. I mean, that's pretty bad. But you parents, get involved in the school. Send your kids to school. Talk to them. When you get home, help them. This is, like my brother Moose said, we're still in the 18th century. He says, we're still looking out of the teepees while everything's advancing here. And I see that. We need to, step up and get up to the 21st century. The other thing, I mentioned too is when you guys listen to the news, for me, I'm worried about this new administration. All these executive orders that he's signing, it's going to affect us. So think about those things ahead of time. So the other one I mentioned in the general meeting was what I like to see is still like what the president said, is this 3-judge appeals court, where the council doesn't do it. It's 3 judges that were going to do it. And I think it's fair to you people too. If you have a case, they hear it, that's going to be the final say so. From what I see is a lot of people got their rights violated. Some of them are probably still sitting in the council or they haven't attended to it. And I see some of these guys that have their appeals to the council probably passed on already. That thing bothers me. So that's what I'm saying. I'm going to try to push that issue so we can get at least 3 judges to be the appeals court where you guys can take your case to them, not the council. Well, maybe I better click now, so getting hungry. And the other thing is, I'll bring you an update. The other thing is that I'm working on, I guess I told you guys before, is that memorial wall for the veterans. Right now, the company got the slabs for the wall. So right now, we're still working on the names. And we need your help on some of those. And if you need to, there's going to be one more issue out of the chief, then that's going to be the final one. And after that, we'll give it to the company so they can start working and etching the names in that wall so they can get it up. And I'm hoping we can get that up this summer sometime. And we'll try to get a big, work on a big celebration for the veterans that keep this country free when they serve. I know there's, a lot of people don't respect them, but you see them, like I said, you see them, give them a pat on the back, shake their hand, say thank you for all this freedom that you guys gave us. But I'll just keep it short. I got some other ones in there, but maybe the next meeting we have, I'll bring those issues up. But I'll go back to the Constitution. We need to change that, the codes, the ordinances. This thing I see about these ordinances or these laws is there's nobody enforcing these laws. There's no punishment. You probably heard in the past, these people got away with it. These guys got away with it. Well, we'll work on that. It might not be right away. Like I said, it's not going to be an overnight thing. It's going to take time. Well, we'll work on that first. But the first one is the code of ethics. I'll try to push that in. And I think some of the other guys are saying the same thing too. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Oh, and also I'd like to send on the legislative councilman, Leon Rival, Cheryl Vigil, and Lillian Beninola, send their regrets. They were unable to attend today. Some of them are at meetings. So elsewhere out of town. And let's see, the legislative councilman that's always giving me a hard time and always making me smile, teasing me, he's going to be speaking next. Ron Julian.
Which one?
Good morning. Thanks for re-electing me, and I appreciate it. This is my third week as a new council member. And I keep telling everyone that even though I'm a new council member, I don't look that new. This year, I'm gonna be 75 years old. So all of you seniors that have been asking me to run, and he said, can you speak for us? He said, those kids on the council are not looking out for us. So at the election board, every time we get early voting. But the president talked about our investments. I was there at the beginning. I was the administrative officer for BIA, and Richard Kim was working on getting money managers. So in 1981, we went with professional money managers. They had the money in banks, and the bank was making 3% interest on our money. Yet my own savings account was making 6%. So we started in 1981 with professional money managers with $15 million. That's what the tribe had. And that we started with. And like the president said, we got a huge amount now. And the first year that was under Jimmy Carter when interest rates were high, so we doubled our money the first year. And we've been doing very good ever since. And I really appreciate the council that was in place. That was Cora Gomez, Calvin Veneno, Jonathan Wells, Raleigh Tafoya, Edwin Sandoval, Dale Hill, that I can remember these were our people that we had to work with to get professional managers. So we've gone a long way from that. So I'm really glad to be back, but I've always been helping right along, so doing what I can. And I've been in various committees and also on the election board. That's where I've been last 3 years. And so I have an idea of what's going on. But that was funny how we talk about being nice to each other. In 1982, when I got on the council, we still had a lot of people appeals problem employees. I was 40 years old then, and I remember my first meeting, we had 2 elderly ladies that were in their 60s that were fighting. And they came before the council. And I asked them what they were fighting about. One of them said, this other person took away my boyfriend when we're in the 3rd grade. For all those years they've been fighting. My next question, which one of you married the guy? Neither one did. I said, so you've been fighting about 60 years over a boy that's married someone else? They looked at each other and just started crying. And I said, isn't it about time you made up? Neither one you got the young man, so why are you still fighting? So this is kind of what I'm kind of brings up with it. We have an argument and we carry it on for the rest of our life. And you shouldn't, once it happens, get on with your life. And, we talk about being happy and all that. I have a situation too where, you always hear me telling jokes and laughing. And I'll tell you why. I have arthritis since I was 8 years old. And both of my knees are bone to bone, right hip is bone to bone. I have deformity in my spine, and they can't replace my knees because of a respiratory problem. They said, there's no way they're going to operate on me or my hip because of my respiratory problem. So I have to deal with it. And after that, I had second opinion. I was going to have that done after I left the council. But after I heard that it took me 3 months to really process that and to put the pain in the back. I'm hurting every day. And I have bleeding ulcers because of the medication I used to take for my pain. But I had to put that aside too, because I ended up in hospital with bleeding ulcers twice. And I was taking like Motrin, 800 milligrams. I was taking 6 to 8 a day, and I was still in pain. So aspirin, I can take 12 aspirin if I was still in pain. But of all things, Celebrex, at the lowest dose, is keeping my pain in check, plus my walking. I had to keep walking and moving. So by putting the pain in the back, and I had a choice. I can cry and bitch about it, or I can use humor to deal with my pain. So that was my choice. I made a choice to deal with humor, pay with humor. And I make you guys laugh, and you in turn make me laugh. The laughing and crying are basically the same thing. So that helps me, and that's why when you guys see me, I tell a lot of grandkid stories. And I really enjoy my time off because I was the grandpa taxi. I kept track of my mileage. I put in 52 miles a day transporting grandkids, just in Duxie. I kept track for a month, and I couldn't believe that I spent 52 miles a day driving grandkids. But I enjoyed it. And so those are some things that I talked about. And going way back too, when I first moved back here in 72, I was working with Richard DeCube, who was the planning officer. In 1980 or 1979, we got an offer to see if we could buy the Dallas Cowboys for $25 million. I'm not a Cowboy fan, but I could see the investment possibility. So Richard DeCube and I went to Albuquerque to try if we could borrow the money at the Bureau. We had $5 million in the bank, but we couldn't get a loan guarantee. We went to Dallas, to Houston, to see if we can borrow the money. It was exciting to be there. I said, can you imagine the Hickory Apache tribe presents the Dallas Cowboys? That's what we're looking at, but we couldn't pull it off. And that was one of those missed opportunities and look at, they're worth over $1 billion now. See, that would have been a good investment at that time for $25 million. But I'm not a Dallas Cowboy fan, but I'm a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader fan. So I'm 3 weeks on the job, and we had to change. I was supposed to be installed on January 6th, and they had to move it to the 5th because our Hawks were in the tournament. So I didn't mind moving that back. So the reception they had planned for me kind of went to the wayside, and they had to scramble. And I really appreciate the ladies that really went out and put on a reception at the last minute. So those of you that participated, I want to publicly thank you for all the work that you did on my behalf. And I didn't attend the reception. The president said, you're coming right in and going to work. So I was not able to attend the reception too. So I went to work then, and I'm glad that I'm back on working with the people. And I've been hearing a lot from a lot of you, and I'll do what I can to be a part of a team now. And if anything that needs to get done, I got 7 other people to convince with the president and vice president. So I have no problem doing that. So I'm using my experience, putting it to work. And like I said, I'm 75 here. I'll be 75 this year, and I'm trying to keep active. And I enjoy meeting all of you, and thank you again. So I'm going to do the best that I can in the 18 months that I have left. So.
Thanks, Ron. President wants to make one last announcement.
It's not really an announcement. I just want to acknowledge someone that's been very special to me in my life, and for me being able to stand here in front of you and try to help you all. I want to recognize my wife, DJ, stand up. I've always been told behind every good man is a woman, so that's who she is. So that's the reason why I stand here before. I just wanted to acknowledge that, so that, and we've been at it for 41 years, so just want to say that also. Thank you.
I thought he was going to tell us he was a different fan of another NFL team. Next up is Legislative Councilman William Julian Jr.
I guess I can do the same thing he did. I'd like to recognize my wife, Thames Julian. She's the one that's pushing, keeping me going for the past 30 years too. So it's been a very wonderful time that we spent together. So, but a lot of stuff that we're doing right now is what Wayne had talked about, and we're moving forward. Sometimes we get bogged down, I guess, in years past, waiting for somebody else to do something. And right now, we're all here and behind me. We're taking that step forward to make sure things get done. And we're working on different projects, and it may seem like we're not doing anything, but we are doing things behind the scenes. And I'm with Bill Moniz that we've been talking about getting an ethics code in place, which has been needed for a very long time. And hopefully we can accomplish that with your help out here, because we need everybody's votes to accomplish that. A lot of the other things that are coming up with broadband and trying to make money for our tribe to where we're not totally dependent on oil and gas. There's different things we have in the works right now that may benefit the tribe as a whole. And we'd like to keep pushing on that. And what Wayne brought up too, is the attitude that we have with our people and all that. And it starts from back in the school days. We have kids that are bullies, and we need you parents to step in and help straighten some of that out. And unfortunately, sometimes that's not corrected, and we have bullies in the workplace, which is not very good. It works against everybody else that's trying to do their job and get things done. So we all need to work together and see if we can correct things like that are happening. And talking about, going back what Wayne was talking about, how we were all raised. And I was the same way. I got preached to my head. My dad's always talking to me about beating up on women. Don't be beating women. He said, don't think you're a man by beating women. And he said, you think you're a man? He said, go where there's a lot of people at a bar or whatever. Find somebody that's as big as you, that's as strong as you, that's going to hit you just as hard as you hit them, that's going to kick you as hard as you kick them. But don't think you're a man by beating a woman. He said, that's not how you're a man. And that's something that was drilled into my head growing up all these years. So that's how I live my life. And I would like to see all you younger men out there to abide by that and believe in something like that, because we love our women. And that's where it all starts, from family. So it's real important what we're doing here. But let's all work together as a tribe and move forward. And there's a lot of things that we've been missing in the past, and we're trying to move past that and kind of stop pointing fingers at what wasn't done. And now it's up to us to make things happen. So we got 4 years ahead of us that we'd like to make a lot of these changes. And a big part of it is updating our Constitution, which I think we've outgrown over the years. There's a lot of changes that we see that needs to be done to benefit our nation moving forward. So I'm looking forward for the next 4 years and see what we can get done for all of you out here. So, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to work for all of you guys. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. And next up is Legislative Councilman Shane Valdez.
Good morning. You heard a lot of what we're working on here from the President, Vice President, Legislative Council. Like they said, we're following through on some projects that were started before we got in office. We're working on new projects. Now that we have more experience and we know what's going on, one of the things I think from when I first started till today is communication has improved within the government here. We work together, we talk to each other, we discuss things. I think that's the only way that this is going to work. We have our own ideas. We're individuals at different portions or different points in our life. We have Ron, former council from back. We have new council that have never been part of the government. And I think that's one of our strengths. With some of the stuff that the president mentioned, I think we have to consider you as a people first. A good example might have been one of the complaints we had here about snow removal. You know, everybody should be taken care of. We're trying to improve everybody's way of life, not just a select few. From when I started my term, one of the things I always mentioned was this is a job. This is a job that we have to do to take care of everyone. And I think I want to stress that, and I want to let you know that with the communication that we have developed as a group, it's improving. We're working on stuff I think that are going to benefit everybody. One of the things I think that Mr. Councilman Muniz mentioned is the code of ethics. I think that's very important to our people, to our government, because we should be accountable just like you're accountable. We should have rules to follow just like you have rules to follow, so that when there's ever anything that comes up that could be considered controversial, one-sided, we have something there in writing to look at, to follow. It's not just going to be said, well, this is the way things were done before. We actually have a format and a policy in place. And again, it's going to take your participation. We are working on stuff. It's kind of odd that we mentioned it, but we had a meeting several days ago and we discussed just on a whim, what do you think about code of ethics? And it turns out there's 4 different council working on the same thing, but we just haven't discussed it yet. We're researching it, so it is important to us as your government, as your representatives. I think also the code of ethics is important because it keeps us accountable. We have to answer for our decisions, for our behavior, to you, the people, because you're the ones that are going to help us create this law or this code of ethics. We're just in a planning process. We're still working on the format, but to be a great government, to be a better government, I think we always talk about it. Transparency, accountability. And I think if we can push this forward with your help, the membership, we're headed in that direction. We're going to be accountable just like you are, just like the departments are. And maybe along the way, it's going to improve everybody's way of life. It's going to improve how we interact with each other, because it's not going to be, well, the council said, the president said. It's going to be, we have these things in writing, we can follow this policy. Another thing too I want to bring up about all these things we're working on is that they're in the process of being formulated. But I think as a council, president, vice president, and as people, we have to think about our expectations of these businesses or these ordinances or these code of ethics. They're not going to be a fix-all in terms of being able to address every situation or make money, make us millions of dollars. And we have to consider that. There's always risk involved. with the things that we do as government officials, because as legislative council members, we're in charge of our spending, our appropriations to our departments, to our companies, we're in charge of trying to make our way of life better. And I think that we have to go into these situations like broadband, like they did with the Power Authority, understanding every outcome that's out there. And I think this is one of the reasons that it does kind of take a while to move forward and develop some of these programs. But again, I want to say that the communication here is getting better. We're sharing information to help us make decisions for you. Thank you all for coming. I want to thank people for the snow removal, keeping our community going. And those of you that go to work every day, thank you for doing your job.
Thank you, Councilman. Just another reminder, the payroll office will be giving out W-2s at the administration building lobby until tomorrow at 5, and I'm not sure, I'll probably mail it out, I'm not really sure. If you have any questions, you can just stop by and talk to them. Again, you must pick up your own. Also, I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Joseph Salazar and the Wild Horse Casino and Hotel event staff, the Apache Nugget Corporation, Mr. Ernie Vela and the JOTC, Harrison Velarde for live streaming and also the sound, the Hickory Apache Royalty, Mrs. Geraldine Julian, the emergency departments, the administration staff, and the PR staff. Without them, none of this would be happening right here. So thank you to all of them. And with that said, again, another reminder, the Wild Horse Event Center will be providing a meal, but we're gonna ask everybody to leave for a short period, and they need about at least 15, 20 minutes to set up the table. So that's just, so if you can please leave, and then maybe you can come back and stand in line, okay? But please stand. We're gonna have the invocation right now, and benediction, and then we're gonna retire the colors. Okay, well, one council lady is at a meeting in Albuquerque at handling an important event. One councilman has a very sick child at home, and another council person has a doctor's appointment that she wasn't able to change. So that is where they're at right now. And again, they send their regrets, and I'm not sure. It depends on if there's meetings happening, if there's other extenuating circumstances that happen.
Like I said, we are growing. We are trying to do it right. And it's been a very difficult process. The previous administration didn't do anything. And that's the way government operates. Some administrations don't do things. Others do. And then the other side of the coin is that sometimes people are more concerned. There's groups of generations that come up before governments that protest, that define what they want. There's others that simply don't give a damn. And that's the way government works. This government that we have in front of you is at least coming together, is at least trying to do things. And I can vouch for both councils that came before me, the one I was on and the ones that are standing behind me. We are trying to do things according to the wishes of the people. We are trying to define things that wasn't defined before. We are doing things that might be controversial to you guys. We might be doing things that don't agree with what you want to do too. But as your government, it's your say-so too, just like the young lady is saying, to speak up and say your piece. Just like the young lady over here was upset about snow removal. That's what you're charged with. And we welcome it. We're not afraid of it. These people that are not here today, I'm sure they have their reasons. But it's just as important to them to stand before you, and you voted them in. So a lot of the times my PR always tells me, Wainwright, do you have anything to say about voting? You guys vote, okay? Look what you got standing up here before you. You voted for the national election. Look what you got up there before you. That's how bad it gets sometimes. And that's all I'm saying. But I'll tell you now, I stand behind these councilmen that I got here in front of me. They're a good council. They work with me. They stand with me. Just yesterday, I asked him if I can go alone to DC so we won't be spending all your money. They can stay home. And they say, yes, go find out what Trump does and what they're doing up there, and you tell us. That's how I work with my council. Everything I do, I put it before them too. And that's the way it's supposed to be. To me, we got good leadership today. And I will stand behind that. Thank you. Yes. But like I said, I welcome anything you want to say. Okay. The casino, we didn't say anything about it because the casino in there right now is closed. It's closed for the simple fact that they're not operating under standard procedures. The commission, the one that are responsible to them, closed it because they were not meeting what they're supposed to do. It wasn't the council that did it. It was the commission. And like I said again, we are following rules. There are rules for the casino too. They need to follow it. And that's what we're operating under. So that's why I'm saying the casino, the people up here I vouch for. Yes, ma'am. we will fix it. Yeah, that's true. I just want to add to that and saying that I was coming back from a conference from Laughlin, and when it started snowing here, as well as we're going to Flagstaff, I was trying to navigate through the storm through there, and it was snowing bad. It was about 6 inches on the ground, and I was fighting the weather. And then the first phone call was from one of our tribal members here. They didn't grade into my driveway, Mr. President, they told me. They're not grading my yard too. I can't even, my car got stuck in the driveway too, and it's been stuck for 2 days. Can you help me? I'm in the middle of a storm out there, and I'm saying, yeah, we'll help you. I'll call somebody and we'll get it fixed. And just like the young lady says, we had that problem, we're gonna get it fixed. That's the best I can say and the best we can do too. No. No. It's gonna get done as soon as possible. Right. That's good. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. Well, we'll get it fixed, like I said, so maybe, and then I know most of you want to go eat too, so we can, but go ahead and say what you wanted to say. Yes, we talked to the butane people yesterday on that too. I had another one in my office, Mr. Valdez from Sawmill Canyon there that wanted, only had 5% in his butane. And so the gas company wanted the road graded before they went in there. So by the time we got the road graded, the gas company was gone. So, I don't know if he made it through the night all right, but the next day we called the gas company to see if they can get gas to them. And then also somebody up on the hill, they haven't gotten gas because they don't want to go up there. So we're making that, we're talking to people out there and telling them that they're going to do business with us as Jicarilla people. They have to be keeping to their word also. We were not allowed, them taking, picking on our people here. So that's what we're doing right now. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We'll get it fixed, like I said. Yes, Shannon. Yes. One of the things that I want to explain to you is, like I said, we're learning and we're trying to do it right. The other thing is that Ed met with the directors in trying to get it straightened out. But I think what needs to happen at this point is that we need to bring the operators in and tell them that this is your house. How would you want it graded? That way, we won't have incidents that you guys are explaining to us. And the other thing is the fact that some of our operators don't even know how to operate the machinery too. That's the other side. So we're trying to learn all this stuff all together, and I think once we get it all straightened out, and I'm hoping within a year's time that we'll get everything the way that we should do snow removal without no problem. We should do a lot of things with no problem, but like I said to everyone else that I meet, we're learning. We're learning our roles up here. You guys are learning your roles out there. She's learning her roles and speaking up. These guys are learning their roles and speaking up too. So we're all learning, and we're trying to every one of us. And some of the things that the young lady mentioned is the infrastructure. The roads are no good. We need to fix that too. So I'm saying that once we get everything squared away, I think we'll be doing great. But one thing I want to also say is that each and every one of you, I'd ask you questions from up here, and I don't get any response. I'm happy today because I got 1, 2, 3, 4 response. The last time I asked a question, can we make Jicarilla our official language? 2 of them, 2 sessions I had, no response. So how are we going to direct the traffic from here for the tribe if we don't have no response? I think one of the gentlemen back here also mentioned the fact that get involved with the school system. When Miss Pixley was getting fired up there, I was sitting on the council. All the school teachers were in the chambers. So we asked him, well, how do the parents feel? We brought the parents the next day. There was 3 of them. 3 young people concerned about the school system. Yet they were kicking all of our good teachers out, and only 3 parents were willing to stand for them. As the council, we stood for them too, but what we needed was the people. And here, we cannot operate without the people. We're trying to do our part and tell you what we need. So you guys do your part too and respond to some of the things we're asking, respond to some of the things we're doing. And I'm glad the young lady's saying what she's saying too, but you know, we're trying to fix things at this point. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Right. Yes. Yes, I understand, what you're saying, but like I said, it's, in the past, and like I was gonna address the young lady over here too, there has been many ethics for the council presented. And it's true, they presented the changes in the government too. The council disapproved it. You see, so there's different councils also that come up here. We've had some bad ones. We've had some good ones. And that's just the way government operates too. And a good example, like I said a minute ago, is the central government. I'm sure each and every one of you are uncertain in what Trump's going to do. You see, that's a good example. Here, we're proud of my administration, the one that I serve with, and my council. We're in a good shape. We're not hurting like the state for money. We're sitting pretty. We're sitting okay. But that doesn't mean we can just sit. We're trying to get it down the road too, for a little ways out, so that we can continue to live the way we are. And that's all I'm saying, is that that's what the State of the Union is. Now, we're going to have a gripe session. I'll call one too. And we can have a gripe session too. I mean, there's really, in the democratic system, there's ways of doing things. And there's things to do things how you do things, to get results of different things too. I'm sure all of you went to the school and learned all of that too. So if you want to operate according to the white world, we can do it also. But in terms of our culture within this framework here that we're working under, we have to respect our culture too. And we kind of lost it there too. That's why I said I'd bring it up front here in front of you guys too. But with that said, can we go eat now? We got one more right there. All right. Yeah, I understand that too, is that that's the reason why I was saying a minute ago too, that I have a chieftain editor that's coming up and we'll publish everything that needs to be published in front of the people so that you guys know what's happening out there, who to call and when to call, and who's responsible for what. That way, everything is understood. The other side is like you're saying, I issue memorandums to people that need to do things too also. And for your information, it's been pretty heavy in doing that because of what I would call the lawlessness of the 4 years that we had, because everybody was a director, everybody was in charge, everybody wanted to do it their way, everybody wanted to go to DC on their own. They didn't care if there was a government or a president or anybody in charge. So when I went up to DC, that's what I told them too. I said, who do you want to send this information to? They told me. The Commerce Department told me that. I said, you send it to me. I'm the president. I did that the same thing to the Department of Agriculture. Next Friday, I'm going to tell the state the same thing. If you want government to government, you deal with me. I'm the leader of this tribe. And the council's behind me, and they're the ones that have to deal with it also. So that's what I'm saying, that it's hard to regain control in what we're doing, but as we march along, I think we can have sessions that the way that it's supposed to be, the way that the government's supposed to run, the way that the community is supposed to run, we can go back to those formulas. And right now, we're at a state of trying to level off. And that's the problem that we're having, but we'll get there. Give us some time as we understand a lot of things too. There's a lot of things that are on our plate. And, you know, when we work in this whole governmental format, first of all, like I told you at the beginning, they gave us the Constitution and we all accepted it and we thought that that's what it takes to have a government. Now we're finding out that we need to fix it. And then we're finding out that in order to have roads, you're supposed to take care of it. In order to have homes, you need to know how to clear the snow wall. We didn't know all this stuff. You see, so that's all I'm saying is that we're just trying to get it under control. And if you give us some time, we can probably get it done. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, I'd like to apologize for not having a question answer session. That's my fault because I guess I was hungry. So I apologize. It's not their fault, it's my fault. So if you want to yell at somebody, yell at me. With that said, Mrs. Julian will be given the benediction.
My turn to, did you turn it on for me? My turn to talk. You're not ready to eat yet. I just want to share with everybody, I'm not trying to brag, but I was asked to go to our clinic on Tuesday. So I went and I had a meeting with the doctors and they were asking me questions and some people they give medicine to, but it's not helping them. So they were asking me questions about our own Indian medicine. And so I told them what I know that was told to me by my grandmothers. For myself, I don't know nothing, but my grandmothers told me some different kind of medicines for different illness, and that's what I shared with them. And there's some that I know, and me and my husband, we've been helping people with some of them, and that's what I just want to share with you. And if my door is always open, if you need help with something, you can come over and we'll help you. And then also, I'm traveling to Phoenix again for the UFO conference. They invited me over there too. So that's where I'll be going to. And I need your prayers for a safe trip over there. So now we have a prayer and everybody can eat. Tôi sẽ có nên đi chỗ tan để có đi na hin min chỗ na hạ tan sĩ cô kita ta deni ta ko yata na hi hani na hi ta je go na ha ai sau na sa ko siang min tin na so ya ye ta sai in yo ta je na hi ta je ni ai ta se a din jo na ha de si na hi ai ya ta ai so jo na ta ai ko ta ai so na ha de si na so ya ai ya na chung de ko ta na ke din ai ko so de ve Ashinti tanta hinta ego na hasa ko tan etiko ta hadisa enjoy na chinan titeko na siya daw kinda hindi kita titli so na hiyo kita titli go hada da do ko shmo yo a kes titli ta ko tan jo ya de so ya ay ta ya amen.